Hi, I'm Judy Litt, and I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about what not to do in Yin Yoga. I was practicing with a teacher the other day, and I really liked her practice. It was obvious she was a very good teacher. I even liked her approach to Yin, and sometimes I find some teachers have a very different approach to Yin than I do. And that may be, everyone is different. Some people's approach to Yin might be more suited to what you're looking for, although sometimes you get what you need and not what you want. Anyway, so she said a couple of things that I really disagreed with. So I figured I would talk about that today, even though I had an entirely different subject already in mind to talk about. So one of the first things she said is that you should always be going deeper into a pose while you're practicing Yin Yoga. Now I understand what she was getting at. Because of the longer holds in Yin Yoga, you will most likely begin to naturally go deeper and deeper into a pose as you are holding it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and beyond. But you may not too, because wherever you start, you may get a little deeper, and then you may hit your edge. You don't want to go over the edge. So for instance, if 0 is no sensation, 10 is pain, you want to be at 5, 6, maybe 7, probably not. You want some sensation. You know that you are working to strengthen the fascia when you have sensation. Just like in Hatha yoga, vinyasa yoga, regular yoga, you want to feel engaged in poses, not just hanging out and not just having arms like that. You want arms like this. Very active arms, right? So, yes, it's true that you may go deeper into a Yin Yoga pose with time, but it might be a challenging pose for you. And it may be a pose that you should not go deeper into, because you can definitely injure yourself in Yin Yoga. And that brings up another thing she said that I really disagreed with. She talked about strengthening your muscles with Yin Yoga. Okay, so, there are holds where you're using your arms. There are, dragon pose, which is essentially a low lunge. Yes, you're going to get into your muscles a little bit, but the object is to try to soften those muscles completely, not contract them. It's hard. I will remind you in the Yin Yoga practices that I lead, and generally I am not at the point in my teacher journey where I'm really great at just walking around the entire time. And because these practices are via YouTube also, I am demoing the entire time. So basically I'm doing the practice with you. So as I feel things in my body, I will pass along what I'm feeling and say, maybe you need to soften your glutes or your hamstring or whatever. Now, am I going to title Yin Yoga practices things like Yin Yoga for hips, Yin Yoga for hamstrings? Absolutely, because I've got to get your attention, and that's what people are looking for. But in Yin Yoga, we are not trying to strengthen our muscles at all. We're trying to strengthen our connective tissue. A big part of that is fascia, and I was going to talk a little bit about fascia initially. So fascia is this webbing that covers your entire body, and that includes the muscles. It's around everything, your bones, your muscles. It has nerves running through it. It has nutrition running through it. It is a fascinating, fascinating subject to me, anyway. Your fascinating fascia. Excuse me. But this is what we're trying to get into to strengthen. We are not trying to get into our muscles at all, and that is why you do not need a warm-up for Yin Yoga. That is why I do not recommend that you do Yin Yoga immediately after exercise when your muscles are very warm, because it's a little too easy. When your muscles are warm, they stretch very easily, and it's really easy to injure yourself. I also do not personally, at this time, recommend the very popular Vin to Yin classes. And that stands for Vinyasa, flow, to Yin Yoga. And the reason I don't personally, at this time, recommend those classes is because you've warmed up. You've gotten your muscles warm. And it puts you more at risk for injury. I could change my mind about that. Yoga is a journey. Teaching is a journey. I am always learning, and I am always passing on what I learned to you. And what I say last year could change this year or next year. That is the nature of life. The only thing certain in life is that things are going to change. So these are things, find your edge. You're not always going deeper. You're not strengthening your muscles. You will a little bit as a byproduct of your Yin practice, but that is not the aim of your Yin Yoga practice. You're strengthening the connective tissue, the fascia, the tendons, the ligaments, things that connect your muscles to your bones or your bones to your bones. And that's also why we hold poses for so long, because it takes time to get into that connective tissue. I hope that you learned something with this short vlog. It's my pleasure to discuss these sorts of things with you. If you have a subject about yoga, yoga as it relates to running, something related to Yin Yoga, to restorative yoga, whatever is on your mind when it comes to yoga. I can't promise I can answer that. It's a large subject. Yoga philosophy, I know some about it. It's something that definitely interests me. Anything you have, questions you have, please let me know. I would love to talk on content that you really want to hear about. I would love to design practices aimed at what you want to get into in your body. But for now, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this vlog, please go ahead and click like. You can always subscribe so that you can practice with me. Following this talk, there's going to be a short Yin Yoga practice.